Hey, and we're back for season 2 of The Last of Us.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we're gonna pick up where we left off. Well, I guess where the season
Where the
left
show
off.
left off.
The
Yeah.
show left off, and it pretty much starts right back up. Um, before we get too far, um, in this season follows the second game, right?
This season, yeah, that's what it looks like. Is
And
what
I
I'm
didn't
hearing.
play the second game, so
Right.
this review is going to be a little different than last time. It'll be from a strictly audience watching the show perspective,
Right.
me, and then you can give the this is where it
Yeah.
differs type of thing.
Yeah, we thought this would be fun to continue. We did this the first season, continue with two different perspectives. I've played the game through several times. Nelson refuses to play it.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling
But I
it.
think you know what happens.
Well,
You
I
just
know
didn't-
some things. I know
Yeah.
what happens to certain characters, and I know what happens at the end because I've watched people play the ending.
Right.
But pretty much everything else, I had no idea what was going on in this first episode.
And the game was very kind of divisive. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I don't understand some of the story choices they made. However, gameplay wise, I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was better in just about every way than the first
Well,
game.
the common complaint that I'm hearing
Story-wise.
is kind of that, like, everybody loves the gameplay,
Right.
but they say the writing was really subpar compared to the first one. So yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, excuse me, I haven't played the game.
Right.
You have.
Right.
So we'll just go episode by episode,
Yeah.
and you can kind of explain
Yeah.
what, well, that was different than the game, but as
Yeah.
long as I don't know, I guess as long as they keep the core of the story, even though
Right.
that's the story is kind of the part that people have the most problem with. It's not the game
Right.
or the gameplay, it's the decisions that were made.
Yeah. Certain things happen to certain characters that I understand and appreciate telling the story from different sides of the coin, different points of view. Like what I kind of, they're all bad people doing bad things, but they're doing those bad things to survive. They're doing what they feel like they have to do, but they still affect other people. So what
Right.
happened with Joel at the end of the first game, the first movie game, for example, like he did what he felt what he had to do, and he
Correct.
did what he felt was right, but that affected other people, and they were trying to help and trying to find.
Yeah, I mean, they
cure.
were trying to find a cure.
Same reason what they were doing affected him.
Right.
So I really enjoy that aspect of it. Is this game, this season, you get to see different perspectives.
Yeah.
Everyone's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And
that's the
doing what
thing.
they're doing their best.
Like you said, everybody's bad people, but are they? I guess that's kind of the whole point of the game
But
is,
again, that's
are they?
depending on which side you're looking
Right.
from.
They're, when human instinct and survival comes into play, a
Right.
lot of things, a lot of morals go out the window.
And look, at the end of the first season, he's basically protecting his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, but the other side.
In the grand scheme
we're
of things,
trying
they
to-
may have been able to save humanity.
exactly. So that's what makes the show and the game and everything so interesting. It's almost, I think we talked a lot about in the first season,
Yeah.
like, what do you do? What would you
What
do?
would you
What would
do?
you have done?
Right.
And would you have been honest about what you did? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's I enjoy that aspect of it. I get why people don't enjoy the second game as much story wise, but I try to look at it. I'm a glasses half full kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I try to kind of look at it from that way. It's interesting to me to see the other side,
Right.
and what these other people are doing, what they think is right.
Yeah.
You know?
And I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I was tainted at the beginning because of certain things that were supposedly going to happen. Of course, most of that didn't.
Yeah,
It
there was
ended
a
up
lot of
being
negative hype
untrue.
about the
Right.
story that came out before the game came
Now,
out.
that being said, knowing what I do know, I still don't want to play it.
Yeah. And I get it. I get that.
So now I may want to play it after watching this.
Yeah.
Have a different perspective on it.
But look,
But
it's fun. It's really
It's a fun game, yeah.
It's challenging, and there's a little bit more strategy involved, and your characters can do different things, and you're playing playing both sides.
Mhm.
In the game, you're playing both sides, and the timelines and the way they mix things up and the way they tell the story. It's really fun. Just from a game standpoint, it's really fun. The areas feel bigger and there's more to explore and there's more ways to solve
Well,
problems
the
and
little bit of gameplay I've watched, the graphics look amazing, even for it's still a PS4 generation.
yeah. Yeah, they had
Um,
remastered it, which they've remastered them.
yeah, two games have had like 7 releases.
Right.
But
Yeah.
okay, well let's get to the show. So it starts out, you see the end of season 1 basically,
hmm
and then it's 5 years later.
Right. 5 years later, they're in Jackson. They're living in the settlement and
Yeah.
having issues, just like
So they show
anyone
her
would.
training,
Yeah.
where she's learning how to grapple and
Yeah, learning how to defend
yeah,
herself.
she
And
gets of course, typical trying to tough or show tough Ellie.
yeah,
She gets pissed off that they let
pulled,
up
pulled
or
punches.
eased up,
Yeah.
pulled up, and so she's like, "Don't do that." But what's interesting, and of course, I didn't know this. She's having a hard time with Joel right now.
Right.
I didn't know this part of it.
And the way that's done in the game is you get it's out of order. It's like watching a Tarantino movie.
hmm
It's things are out of order and you get little glimpses of this here and little glimpses of that there, and you don't get conclusion to that kind of storyline until the very end.
Okay,
Um
so this is a little
so
bit
you
different to see
and
it play
this
out
is a
like
little bit
this.
different. They're going to do things a little out of order, which you got to do things a little bit differently for a show, and I think it's going to work out. The
Well, it's understandable. It's relatable.
yeah,
Teenagers and
yeah,
and their parents. So now we don't know what they haven't revealed what has triggered this yet, but I'm sure we're gonna find out.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll find out. They'll address
I
that.
wonder if it's gonna be the same.
Right.
That's kind of cool thing. I mean, even though you played the game, there still may be some
Yeah.
things you don't
Yeah,
know.
because there's some things even in this episode that they talk about, which we'll get into a little bit later. But there's some things that they talk about in this episode that are in the game, but they're going to flesh it out in the show.
Yeah.
Kind of like they did that in the first season too. They did that with a couple of things. They happened in the game or it was mentioned in the game, but it was fleshed out in the show.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
It was kind of glossed over in the game, but in the
Right.
show they went in a little more in depth.
right, right. Or
Was it
or,
the two brothers? Two brother episode?
um? Well, I know they did that with Offerman. I can't remember
Oh, Frank or whatever his
Frank
name
and
was.
Bill. Yeah, they fleshed that out. But there were a couple.
Well, they didn't flesh that out. They completely changed it.
They
but-
they added. They took a lot of liberties. None of that was in the game. Well, I mean, just the Joel being in therapy.
Okay.
I hated that at first. It's like, but that scene when he's talking to Catherine O'Hara, which was she's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was my favorite scene in the show.
That's interesting. So he's not in therapy in the game?
That's not in the game.
Okay.
And they talk about her husband, Eugene. Eugene is you never see him. You never see him in the game, but they mention Eugene. You know about Eugene, but in the show, Joel killed Eugene.
Yeah.
That's not in the game. So I'm very very interested to find out.
Well, how if they're gonna explore that a little bit more?
Right.
Maybe show like a flashback of what happened.
Right. And yeah, I mean that's got to tie into something else. They got to be going somewhere with.
Well, what it seems like they're doing, and they did in the first one. Obviously, you can't go around killing infected every episode, all episode like a video game,
right?
So you have to concentrate more on human.
Got to flesh out some other stuff.
Because obviously, in this world or any apocalyptic world, what happened is just what happened.
Yeah.
How we deal with it is the real horror story. Right.
And I love how they set up their little government.
Yeah.
Their little city council. And they're talking about we can't take more people in. We're busting at the seams already. Like these are real problems that they would
correct.
have,
yeah.
That you don't necessarily get to see in a game, but you get to see it addressed on screen. So I think that's really
his sister-in-law is the mayor. Is that right? Or she?
Yeah, her and the brother Tommy. They kind of run the whole thing.
Okay.
But I mean, she's not like a dictator or anything.
Right. No. There's a council.
Input. Right.
But she's like the mayor.
Right.
Or whatever.
She's like the executive branch.
Okay.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
I think that's neat. They
so before we saw them though, so Ellie, they explore a little bit more about her frustrations. She goes and she's shooting infected with Tommy and
Right.
finds out that Joel doesn't want Tommy sending her on patrols, and she basically
Mhm.
talks him into sending her. So obviously something's gonna happen because she's insisting on going on a patrol. So it's
Right.
like, okay, obviously something's gonna go down.
Right.
So they go on the patrol, and of course she's not listening, being her usual rebellious self,
Yeah.
because that other girl
Dina.
was the one. No, no, not Dina, the one in charge, the one that was in charge of the patrol.
Yes. Okay. I
The
don't
one that they
remember her
said was
name,
the
but
other one, which I guess they mean lesbian.
right.
Um, anyway, so she's not listening to her. She sees the dead or the blood. She's like, "Woohoo, let's go!"
Let's go figure it out. What's going on there?
So anyway, that scene, is that the scene that I told you I was watching the other day in the video game where they were like in the subway area? Is this kind of like a replacement to that scene, or is that something that
No,
happens
this is
later?
something that kind of happened in the game, if I remember. Like they not. It's Dina and Ellie on patrol. These other three and this girl,
Or not in
they're
the
not they're
okay.
not a part of it. Dina and Ellie are on patrol. She didn't have to like argue to she didn't have to argue to get on the patrol. Like that's her job.
Oh, okay.
And they talk about how she's doing better and the other guys are looking up to her or whatever. So that's like an iteration of what was in there. But they do find a dead animal, which leads them to a supermarket. That's all in
Okay,
there.
okay.
Um, I really enjoyed that.
Does she get bit in the game that way?
No,
Okay.
she doesn't get bit
Well,
there.
now something else that's different in the series, you can't breathe it in, right? Like you can in the game. Isn't that one of the major differences?
Yeah, they have the spores that they have to wear their masks and
Right,
stuff.
and that's not in the
I don't
series.
remember
Didn't they
seeing
change
I don't remember
that? They
seeing that yet. No, they added how they communicate through the network of of roots and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
the fungus in the ground and all
But
that
if I remember correctly, that's why they don't wear a mask and all that, because the spores is not a thing in the
in the
series.
series, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah, that was really neat.
So anyway, so she gets bit. I mean, but
Well,
yeah, I
they
guess maybe we should have prefaced this with we're discussing the damn episode, so spoilers or whatever. But so I'm wondering why they showed her get bit, I guess is what I'm getting at. Because she can't breathe it in later, and that
that's
other scene
something
might not
that's
happen.
something too. That's something a little bit different. I'm wondering why they showed that. And it's actually really neat the way they did it. So the infected that she encountered in the store, which was awesome.
Yeah, that
That was
was
really
neat,
neat. That's called a stalker.
which is new.
That's well, they're new for the game. They have them in the game, but they don't show up until later, and they already know about the stalkers. Like
Oh,
when you
okay.
encounter them, oh, I think there's stalkers in here. So in here, this is a new thing that they're just discovering. They're smart. They think. But she say they can't do arithmetic.
Right. She said
But
they can't do arithmetic,
yeah,
but they
so that's neat. That's a neat change that they
they
made. Like
ambushed and
they're
stalked.
learning that they're the infected are changing. So that's pretty neat. I did enjoy that scene.
Okay.
So yeah, they're taking things
And then
and
that's
kind of the
after that
same but different.
incident is when they go back and you see the council meeting.
Yeah.
Um, so
Uh,
then it leads to the the party. Right after that, they're like, well, it's almost New Year's time,
right.
so they go to the party.
Right.
Um, and here's where I'm getting a little annoyed with the um discriminatory stuff that's going on,
Hmm.
because I'm pretty sure we live in a time where that doesn't happen even now at
Yeah,
this
that what
scale.
happened at the dance wouldn't have been called out the way it
Right.
was. Yeah.
And why it would be such an issue in this apocalyptic world.
Well, there's got to be one bigot that has to be called out and put in his place, I
Right. But
guess.
I mean, I guess what I'm hoping is at some point in this series, we can move past the everybody's a bigot stuff because they did,
Well,
I just don't understand why that's such a big deal.
and so the way it was done in the game, though, that happened. And again, this is told in bits and pieces throughout the game. So that you don't see that until towards the end of the game. But that was a catalyst to something else happening. Two characters getting together and talking about things and figuring some things out. So the way they're doing it, that wasn't thing that served a purpose. that served the purpose to start something else that happened in the game that was, meaningful interaction between characters. It's out of order. You don't see that till later in the game, but I'm interested to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
How they flesh that out.
Well, I guess I just don't understand why it's got to be such a major plot point.
Yeah, and
Um, and
it's
it's
gonna be
obviously a major plot point in the game, but
it's gonna come up again. Yeah,
why? Like, why did they
yeah,
do all of this? And I
and
think that's part of the reason why they got flack in the first one
hmm
is they're beating you over the head with it. You can have social commentary. There's nothing wrong with that,
right.
but you don't have to like just bash it in every episode, every second.
Yeah,
It just gets exhausting.
I think it's gonna be a big part of the season.
Yeah.
Um, I'll say this: there were a couple of things about the episode that I didn't like at first, but the more I liked it, I watched it, I liked it.
Now let me be clear. I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Okay.
good.
I think it was a
did
really
too.
good start.
I did too.
I just kind of want to move on
Yeah,
from her being a lesbian and that being this huge deal
and
in this apocalyptic world. Like I don't understand why that would be such a huge deal.
the things that happen, I think is going to be an exciting season. I think there's going to be more action and more infected related stuff in this season. But I did think it was a good episode.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things like I was saying that as I was watching, I wasn't crazy about, but I changed my mind as I was watching the Joel in therapy thing.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I kind of rolled my eyes, but then
Man, Pedro's so good, huh?
he is good.
I mean,
Yeah, the facial expressions and the close ups when he towards the end of their conversation after she told him like I hate you for what you did, that kind of stuff. He stood up and she reacted.
Oh yeah,
She
yeah, yeah,
got a
yeah,
little
yeah.
scared. That was
That was
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, we
Because it
like
makes you
we're
realize how
yeah.
people are scared of him.
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
They know what he's capable of, and when she jumped, that
Yeah,
was
that
awesome.
was
I was
great.
like, oh,
That and when they were in the supermarket, when Ellie and Dina, which Dina is not my favorite character in the game, but this girl is killing it. I texted you that
mm-hmm.
last night. She's doing a phenomenal job. Like I like her more in the show already than I liked her.
Than you liked her in the
She's
game.
doing a great job. But when they were in the supermarket and they were trying to sneak up on the infected and they were kind of joking around and making the faces and all that stuff, I was like, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. But you also kind of get the sense that we've done this before. We've got this. We're not
Right.
scared. We're not afraid. We're gonna handle it.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah. So that there's a couple of things that just that those two things grew on me.
I mean, if you've been living in this world your whole life,
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying? Your humor is going to be
deal with.
different
Yeah.
than what you and I
Yeah.
would think.
So that was pretty cool. Yes, I did. I did like it. I did like the first episode a lot.
Yeah.
It's something
But
I might try to
I
watch
also
it again
liked
during
the
week.
first episode of season 1,
Yeah.
which I thought was excellent. And season 1 had its ups and downs. I mean, there were some episodes were really good, and
Yeah.
some were just like, man.
And the better episodes were the episodes where they took the liberties and strayed from the game. The people that they encountered with Linsky was the leader of that little group.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
I forgot about her. Yeah.
storyline. That was neat. Just things we hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you know, not everything translates to screen, and
Yeah.
you know, it's the same thing with like a novel. You
Yeah.
know, no movie or TV series based on a novel is going to be exactly like it. They
Yeah.
have to
They can't
change
make it
some
perfect.
things. But yeah, I think it's off to a good start. So anyway, so they have the guy calls her a dyke or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, the party's over. She goes back and she sees Joel,
Mhm.
and she just ignores him and goes right into the shed.
Right.
That's all still kind of tracking.
Yeah, that's all.
What's going on.
That's all tracking with the.
So, man, I
Yeah.
can't wait to find out why she's so aggravated with him.
It's gonna be interesting. I think.
Is
Look,
it really a
Divine-
big deal, or is it just something she's blowing out of proportion?
No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and again, it's not something you find out like something happened, and you kind of get to figure out. You're familiar with the first game, you know what it is,
Right.
but the way it's handled and the way it's done, like it's very very impactful, and
Okay.
I think they're gonna do the same thing with the show. I feel like Ellie is better Bella Ramsey is a better older Ellie than she
Than
was a
younger
younger
Ellie?
Ellie. Yeah, she's. I mean, we talked about it. Our enjoyment of the first season kind of waned over time.
Yeah.
Like when we first watched it, we thought it was a little bit better than
Than
when
what
we
we
thought
think
back.
of it
Yeah.
now, right?
Um, and I just wasn't. I didn't buy it. The more I thought about it, I didn't buy her. But I think she's doing all right as older Ellie. Um, and I think everybody else is
So
killing it.
okay, so right after that, they show what's her name? Abby. Abby and
Abby.
her. So we
Forgot
skipped
about the
that
Abby
part.
stuff. Yeah.
So Abby, what do you think? Now I know we've only seen her for like what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of screen time.
And right now, you don't know who she is. You know her name,
Right.
but you don't know who she is yet.
And the audience, if you haven't played the game, probably has no clue who this chick is.
Right.
The only thing we can say without giving too much away is, well, I mean, they said in the show that he killed her. I guess her father was one of the doctors. Was he one of the, or he was there whenever Joel went on his rampage getting
Yeah, they were
Ellie
there.
out.
They were there. I don't know if they didn't say.
Yeah, they didn't actually
specifically.
say specifically who he was, but
Right.
his dad was one of the people that Joel massacred in the last episode.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
In the video games, or in the video game, she's like muscular. She obviously worked out and
she's a
trained.
soldier.
Okay.
She's a
She
soldier.
was a soldier prior to the apocalypse.
Right. Well, no, what happened with Joel in the hospital happened, and then she became a soldier. And then 5
She
years
started
later,
training because she wants revenge on Joel.
right.
So she's
there's these
basically
different
Inigo
factions.
Montoya from Princess Bride, where he trained for 20 years to avenge his father's death.
Right. Yeah.
I am Abby. What's her last name? Did they say? I am Abby Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yeah.
So anyway, what do you think about the casting? They made it very clear that she wasn't going to work out and that she wasn't going to try to look like Abby. Do you predict that that's going to become an issue later?
It's different, and I appreciate that, but then they also can't make her like a supreme badass
right. I mean,
by the end of it, because
she doesn't look like she's been training for it.
Right. So
you can get away with it when you look the part.
That's going to be different, right? So yeah, I mean that's another thing that's going to be slightly different. I'm enjoying seeing where they're going to go with it, like in all her little crew, all those people that she's at the graveside with.
So is that all that's left of the Fireflies? There's only like 4 or 5 of them, or there's different factions of Fireflies. I don't remember the lore.
They were Fireflies at the time, but then they kind of turned into something. Like the Fireflies are gone.
The Fireflies.
5 years later, the Fireflies are gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now
I think
she's the leader of this new crew type thing, or she's just got her little group with her.
She's got her little group with her, and yeah, she's definitely not the leader of anything. You get the sense that she's very well respected, but she's not like any. She doesn't hold any.
She isn't in the video game.
In the game, she doesn't hold any kind of position of power or anything like that.
But we don't know what they're gonna do with this.
We don't know what these might be the last remnants of the Fireflies, and they might not go into any. Well, I think they do, because they mention a character that comes in later on. Things. So yeah. She's.
Now, I think she's a great actress. I've seen her in a couple of things. One I reviewed her that movie. It was that alien invasion movie. It's called I forget what it's called, but it's where she doesn't say a word until like the last 15 minutes of the movie. Let me look her up. But it was a decent little movie. So Dina, how different is she from I know you said you like her better than the video game, but what makes her better?
She's I don't know. She seems more, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of.
Oh, the movie I'm talking about is No One Will Save You.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard.
Yeah. Of that. Well, then you produced this show, producer Nick. I'm sure you've seen my review on it.
I don't remember. You put out so much good quality content.
So much content that he can't keep track.
The Dina thing, I don't know. I feel like she just nails her. she brings her to life.
Mhm.
This actress is kind of bringing her to life, and it's not really that the character is different. I just like the way she's playing her. I think she's doing an
Okay.
excellent job. And it's the look, like when they're at the dance, and she's got the red top and the jeans on or whatever, and her hair's up,
Mhm.
and the way they're dancing, everything straight
From the game?
straight
Okay.
from the game.
That's cool.
That she nailed it.
The guy that called him Dykes, does he play a bigger part? Because I like that actor. He's in Stephen King's Thinner. He's the main character in that.
I remember that. Yeah,
And he's also in Rescue Me. He plays Dennis Leary's brother, who was a priest
okay.
at one point. So
Yeah.
he's a great actor. I like him. He was also RoboCop 3, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's RoboCop.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
No, that's his only. That's
the only
role
time.
in,
Okay.
yeah, that's his only role.
That dude's a good actor.
I don't know. Catherine O'Hara blew me away.
Yeah.
She was so good.
So is her character
3
in
minutes.
there at all? Or
No.
that she's a completely made
No.
up character? Okay.
No, you know about Eugene. Eugene's kind of in the background. You don't know that he's married. You don't know any of that stuff. And definitely Joel didn't kill him. So that's one of the storylines I'm definitely interested to see where
Yeah.
they go with that.
I love Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, she's
good.
pretty humble. She can kind of do anything.
Okay. Well, I guess that'll wrap it up. We'll see what episode 2 has to has in store for us on
Yeah.
Easter Sunday.
Yeah, can't wait to watch it.
Is it
again.
next week, or are they skipping Easter Sunday?
I don't know. I thought it was weekly, but I'm not sure.
Well, sometimes they skip whenever it's a when there's a holiday. So let's see. No, April 20th. That's this Sunday. Okay.
Let's watch another one. Do another one of these.
All
It's
right.
fun.
Well, we'll do it again next week.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. We'll see y'all next week.
See ya.